we've got the mandates that need to go. We've got some mandates here. Stop all the mandates, indoor COVID-19 imposed restrictions. Reverse COVID-19 induced legislation. Cease proposed legislation. The immediate restoration of our universal and inalienable human rights. Medical professionals to follow the principles in the NZMA Code of Ethics. All media to have freedom without censorship. You hear that? Awesome. Let's try Friday, 5 p.m. Okay, I want to introduce a brave young woman who's just been absolutely amazing. She's taken a lot on her shoulders at the last minute, but she represents New Zealand truckies, and she's been working together with an amazing team, Viv Burgess and Rochelle Rewi. Her name is Emma Walker, so could you please put your hands together for this amazing mother and wife, freedom fighter Emma Walker.
Wow. This is how you unite a nation. For the last 2 years, New Zealanders have been told to be kind. We've been told we're a team, but every team requires leadership. What kind of leader thinks it is okay to encourage bullying in two classes of society? What kind of leader bullies and coerces people? In just over a week, multiple groups have come together and united under a common goal: freedom. But this movement is not about us, it's about you. Thank you. It's about your kids who can't play their favourite sport. It's about family members who have been excluded from family gatherings. It's about people who have lost their jobs. And it's about people who have been forced and coerced into a medical procedure just to keep their job, to pay the bills and feed their families. Over the last 2 years, Kiwis have never felt more alone, isolated. I'd like you all to take the time now to turn around, look at your neighbours and introduce yourself to a stranger. We are not alone. We are family. We are united. We all know somebody who is or has suffered a mental health issue. We all do. In 2019, the government allocated $1.9 billion to be spent on mental health over the next 5 years. The same government spent $62 billion on the COVID-19 response. And they have spent it all. Our children and our children's children will be paying back that debt for generations to come. Our forefathers fought in not one, but 2 wars against oppression and segregation. It is time to put an end to the mandate. It is time to put put an end to the medical apartheid, for families to reunite, and for people to come together. This division has been led by our government, but no more. We want leadership that unites people, not divides.
Why don't you put your hands together for this brave young lady? That's the Kiwi spirit, isn't it? And that's for all of us here today. So I guess we've got a bit of symbolism here, showing a divided flag being reunited. Beautiful. Awesome family. Hey, I want to invite another amazing, brave young woman up to the stage. I'm sure she's here somewhere. I haven't seen her yet, but I know she'll know when I describe her. She's been protesting and standing up against issues of the day ever since she was a little girl, and she's used her creative ability to be able to share her hopes and her dreams and her convictions about freedom in Aotearoa. So I'm going to invite Michaela Dakin to please come forward to the stage. Please welcome Michaela.
Hello, powerful people. My name is Michaela Dakin, and I stand here before you today with love and gratitude in my heart for the tremendous effort you have all exerted over the last couple of days. The long hours driving, the organisation required, the time off work, the time away from family, the food prepared and donated, the expenses and accommodation required. This is truly a unified effort and a demonstration of what is possible when people come together to support, love, respect, and stand up for one another. Thank you for being here to ensure our freedom is not mindlessly given away through apathy and inaction. Thank you for instead making a stand so those who come after us, our children and their children, can live in a world where they have sovereignty over their body, their movements, their being, their self-expression, their well-being, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. To our global family in Canada and Australia. Thank you for leading the way with this convoy movement and inspiring us by showing us what is possible when the people have finally said enough is enough. Over the last 2 years here in New Zealand, our government and the media has pushed constant lies, fear and division. And although this has brought challenging times, heartbreak, struggle and so much more, without the dark, there is no awareness of the light. So I want to also thank our government, because by trying to divide us, they have only pushed us further towards unity. Through them pushing fear, many of us have gravitated closer to the vibration of courage, of hope, and of love. And their attempts to make us powerless, the truth has been illuminated that power can never be taken. It is only granted. And we instead choose to withdraw that power from a corrupt system and focus on building empowered, unified communities. We are seeing what is truly capable when we start coming together to create. And to be clear, I am not trying to say what is happening right now is okay, or that it's right, or that it's easy, or that it's fair, or that it's just, because what this government is doing is wrong. But through all of this, we've had the opportunity to stop and reflect on what sort of life we want to live and leave behind. Parents, you are being given the opportunity to embody your responsibility to your children, to protect them, to sacrifice your ego for them, to model to them what it looks like to stand up against bullies, even when at times it feels as though everyone around you is staying seated. Our focus has been sharpened to aim us towards what is really important in this lifetime. And it's not hiding away from our fellow human, voiceless and defeated, but under the illusion of safety. No, we were put here to truly live, to embrace one another, see one another, breathe in fresh air, and to have our bodies treated as the sacred, sovereign vessels that they are, and to speak our truth. In this government's attempts to remove freedom, we are reminded of the words of the great Bob Marley, whose birthday we celebrated just days ago. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds. We do not need to ask this government for permission to have our freedoms back, as they have always lived within us, and it is up to us to act upon and uphold our freedoms as a people. As I look around you today, I am reminded of May the 2nd, 2020. I was standing here with 20 others in the rain after we had emerged from the first level 4 lockdown. This was the first protest against the government's overreach of power here in Wellington. Since then, the government has tried to shut down this growing movement, to censor those who go against the narrative, and to belittle those of us standing up for freedom and the right to choose what goes in our body. But those attempts have failed. And we have only grown stronger. We will not be silenced. They have tried to make us feel small and alone, but look around you today. You can know for certain that is not the case. We are supported not only in this country, but across the world. And we are rising by the many every single day. Instead of 20 faces staring back at me now, I look out upon a wave of awakened people, the ancestors and protectors of future generations. And I am so proud, and I'm so honoured, and I'm so grateful that you have all arrived in your magnificence and your power. Moments that we alter the course of history together. So from the bottom of my heart and behalf of my children and all the children to come, I thank each and every one of you for forging these pathways for freedom and uniting. Thank you.
Why don't you give it up for this amazing young lady, Michaela?
And on the back of that, thank you so much, Michaela. You're amazing. So proud of you. This is the cry of the mothers. Some of you might have heard it before. And I'm actually going to turn around today and I'm going to sing it that way. Yeah! Yeah. Hey! Hey! This is the cry of the mothers who know that this corporate greed has not night of history, will you participate? Hey! For our babies, for our tamariki, for our children.
Beautiful. Give it up for our mothers. Jacinda, take your hands off our children. Keep your filthy paws off our children. That's our future. Don't you touch them. Don't you mess with our mothers or our fathers. In fact, you know what? Michaela talked about the overreach of this government. And overreach means tampering. There's some extreme criminal activity happening in this place right now. There are people who should be held accountable for some lives that they've damaged. And she said that we should no longer have to ask for permission to fight for our freedoms. And yet overreach, talk about overreach, they're locking us up for speaking up for our freedoms. Cry of the mothers, are moved to see the mothers crying outside this parliament. I stood outside Mount Eden prison crying for my father, Brian Tamaki. That's my father, my leader, for standing up and speaking for his freedoms. And they think they can shut us up, when yet they're shutting up your bravery to stand up. I'm grateful for brave men who can stand up and put their own freedom on the line so that many others can follow. We will continue to stand outside here or prison or any other place where you try to lock us up, shut us down. The Kiwi spirit is much too powerful for your lies and your deception. So thank you so much, Michaela. You're a brave young lady and we love everything that's coming off you. I'd like to give it up for NZDSOS, New Zealand doctors speaking out with science. They're another amazing group who've been doing some awesome things. Men and women have been putting their careers on the line, and one of these amazing members of our family is Dr. Emmanuel Garcia. So could you please welcome him to the stage? Dr. Emmanuel Garcia.
Thank you, everybody. I don't even know what to say, Hecker. This is a great privilege to be standing here in front of these brave truckers and these brave freedom-loving people who will no doubt be described as a fringe element by the mainstream media tomorrow. We have to know the enemy we're dealing with. And I followed this thing, this narrative, this whole Kabbalistic program for the past 2 years very closely. And I think many of you have, along with me, had seen that there was something that wasn't right from the very beginning. We have been given so many lies, so many endless lies, cases, deaths, case numbers, dangers. We have been fed a diet of fear, and we have been told to obey or else you will be punished. Now, in my book, that doesn't sound like a caring, freedom-loving government. They have turned medicine inside out. In the old days, natural immunity was a thing to be desired. It was a great thing, right? But now, it's like a curse word. Natural immunity, no. In the old days, if there was a disease, you had a race for the cure. You didn't have a race for a lethal, dangerous, unnecessary inoculation whose ingredients we still have no true idea about from those in this government, those in this criminal organization. Do they understand that they derive their power from us, from the people? Do they know that? I hope they know that, because I can't explain why they, in their hubristic pride, would now go after our children. Now think, they're the single source of truth. They talk about the science. Well, first of all, there is no such thing as one science. We know that, okay? There's a scientific enterprise, and you try to find the truth in all that. But according to their cult, and it is a cult. People should be locked down. People should be afraid if they're unlocked that they might be locked down at a moment's notice. And our society should be separated. Do you imagine that we're living in an apartheid society where those of you who don't have that jab pass can't go into a hairdresser, a cinema, a theater, a cafe, a restaurant, a gym, or a pool? Is this the kind of society these people want for us? Well, no, it is. That is exactly what they want. They want control, obedience, and slavery. But I come, and you come, and these truckers come with a message of hope and love and living, okay? We're brave people. We're not afraid of this invisible thing that's out there that's making everybody cower. We want to live our lives. We want to have the freedom to assemble, to speak our minds, to speak and think freely, and to stand as one nation together against this corrupt, sick cabal. But make no mistake about it. They are corrupt to the core. They have turned medicine inside out. They use their henchmen like the Medical Council of New Zealand to go after any doctor who tries to raise any difference against their narrative. But the truth will always have its day, and the truth is unstoppable, and the truth is coming out, and we stand here united in truth and love and freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manuel Garcia. Brave professionals. You know what? I think that we've got the expertise on our side. They say listen to the science. Well, this is a science. It's not scared to be silenced. And so your bravery, Dr. Garcia, and we have another colleague of yours from the New Zealand doctors speaking out with science. So could you please join with me in welcoming Dr. Matt Shelton.
Hey everyone! So, what he said. Thank you very much. I can't follow that, but I have to. And I have to stick to a script because I'm still participating in our legal system to try and get my job back. And my lawyer said, if you don't write something and run it by me, I'm out of here and you're on your own. So it's just as well. So just a few words.
We want our jobs back.
So I'm here today as a private citizen, not as a doctor. Because it's on. All right. And representing disobedient health workers too, and teachers, and police, and soldiers, and everyone else who's had to walk. All of us. All the citizens of New Zealand and the world.
That's right.
We're in this incredible boat we find ourselves in. How did it happen? And I'm here to express my inalienable, God-given rights to assemble with you, to support and protect our children.
That's right.
Of course, for free speech. To say what happens in my body.
That's right.
And to live my life how I want,
Yep.
as long as I don't harm others.
Yep.
Now, these are not just rights and natural laws, but they are obligations. As if we don't exercise them in full view, then they get weaker, they atrophy, they wither away, and trouble will then surely find us. I want to remind us by my presence here today of a time when oaths mattered.
Yes. That's right.
Healthcare workers, lawyers and judges, politicians, police, defence, all make solemn declarations in public and to serve the public.
That's right.
There is no power, of course, without responsibility. And that goes for us here too. We have a colossal collective power. We should recognise it and then try to use it wisely, of course.
Yes.
All these institutions and ministries that are mandated by us must start listening. We do not consent to what you are doing to us. And we will not contract with you if you try to trick us. Now, more and more of us are starting to understand what some of these words mean. But it's just as true with common law-based legal systems that are based on natural laws, of course, that we have to participate. All right, we have to learn and we have to participate. We should support our police and our courts to investigate crime and deliver justice.
Yes.
It is not enough for them to ensure that processes are followed properly if the processes themselves are flawed, inadequate, or slanted against us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So we in my group at nzdsos.com have been trying to alert Parliament and regulators to important new safety concerns on behalf of everyone, but no one will even speak to us.
Wow.
So thank you all for coming, and maybe our collective voices will get their attention. We will keep working to provide evidence that the many good people in the police need to do their jobs. And I know many too still in healthcare and the legal system and in all the buildings around here who want us to tell them that they too are not alone.
Yes.
We have their backs too. Yeah. And they just have to stand up and join us. Yeah. This is all our country. Give it back.
Just want to thank all the doctors from NZDSOS for your bravery to stand up against the bully. And I'd like to acknowledge NZTSOS, the teachers who will be down here next month to argue their case in the court together with these guys. People who are willing to lose their livelihood to stand up for what they believe in. Interesting you said, Doctor, that is there not one person in there who would stand up for us? Of the 120 MPs who sit in that house, is there not at least one of you? One of you who is brave enough to put yourself on the line? One of you for whom freedom is more important than your own pay packet? We paid you to get in there. Now open your mouth, stand up and have some guts. Does anyone want to come down and see us? I wonder if those doors are open today. I don't hold out much hope. I wouldn't be surprised that's supposed to be their first day back at Parliament today. And I wouldn't be surprised if they decided let's just use the greatness of technology to have a Zoom debate in our virtual debating chamber and continue to ignore these people. Give a wave to our media again. Nice wave, please. There you go. We'll be waiting eagerly for your report. Hey, we've had a lot of amazing, brave people who have stood before us today, and I'd like to invite our next speaker up today. How are you all now? Anyone hungry? I just want to say that there is food that is being passed on. We've got a food truck, and I want to acknowledge all the amazing people from the various groups and freedoms groups who have, and even just individuals who have been working hard to prepare meals, to make muffins and to make sandwiches. This is the family of Aotearoa. This is the Kiwi spirit, This is the New Zealand that I know and love. Not segregated, separated, isolated, but all family opening up our resources to one another and providing for one another. I love it. This is a picture that we know and love. And so this food is going around, it's circulating. We've got another truck coming with more food. We'll have some meals coming along. I know that there are some people who have no intention of leaving this place, I hear. And so, but if you are here, I've just got one little sort of a request to make of you. If you decided that you couldn't find a car park in the central city, so you decided just to park your car in the middle of the road and come here, that's, I'm not going to say that's all good, it's not, that's off your own back, my mate, you stand on your own. But I just want to say, could you please respectfully remove your car at least by 5 o'clock, so that the rest of the hard-working citizens of the city can go home and see their families, all right? So you're all good for a couple of hours, but let's just try and get these things removed by 5, and then we can get on and enjoy our dinner together. Okay, the next woman, a very brave woman. She represents a whole load of probably one of the most important professions in this nation. I don't know where I would have been or my family would have been without them. She represents the midwives and a whole lot of other areas. So please welcome to the stage Sarah Gibson.
I'm not alone today. With me are just over 200 of my midwifery sisters. Who back in November were tossed aside by this government because we chose to stand up for the ethical principle of bodily autonomy. Here we are in February, and to say that our maternity system is creaking would be a gross understatement. Some places have reduced the services on offer, and the midwives left staffing the units are exhausted from picking up so many extra shifts. Now those who took their 2 jabs are faced with a mandated booster. How many more midwives will walk? For the health system, this is self-sabotage, pure and simple. And it's not just healthcare workers and teachers and firefighters, it's everyone. The mandate madness has spread across this nation faster than the dreaded Omicron. It feels like we live in the upside down, a world where the modelers scare us with their predictions that never come true. A world where you can go to the supermarket in Bunnings unjabbed, but God forbid you enter a cafe or go to the hairdresser. Our access to participation in society is dependent upon the pharmaceuticals we put into our bodies. How utterly dystopian and how utterly nonsensical. This country does not have sensible leadership. This country is led by those who see fit to introduce policies such as the vaccine mandates and vaccine passes. Policies that are dressed in the guise of health and safety, but under closer inspection are really just discrimination and a means to coerce people into getting vaccinated. There is simply no sound scientific basis for the mandates or the COVID vaccine pass. The vaccinated can catch and transmit COVID as much as their unjabbed counterparts. This country does not have a kind leadership. A kind leader would put her arms around the vaccine injured, people like Casey Hodgkinson and Anthony Moe, and say, I'm so sorry. Let's make sure you get the help and support you deserve. Wilson and say, we will seek compensation from Pfizer for the death of your fiancé Rory. A leadership that stood on solid footing would not fear the people it serves. They would not be afraid of debate.
That's right.
So for any of you up there that are listening, I challenge you to come out and address these good people who have travelled the length and breadth of this country. trump your duty of service to the people who put you in office. Policies that promote fear and discrimination have no place in this country. It is time for the policy to reflect reality. End the mandates. And repeal the COVID-19 Public Health Response Act.
Beautiful. Isn't it refreshing to hear some truth? It's supposed to be the source of all truth in there, but I tell you what, what's outside here is a lot more truthful. I can swallow it. I can digest it. I can't handle watching the TV at 1 o'clock for our daily bewitching report that comes from the throne room. Time for us to open our mouths and speak out the truth, and don't be bold, don't hide it, don't shy away. I'd like to invite there's Anna here. Where's Anna?